Good morning children. Now we will study the chemical properties of the 16 group element. This is for the 16 group element. You have already studied the physical properties. The first property that we will study is the oxidation state. As you already know that the general electronic configuration of 16 group is NH2NP4. That means they are having 4 electrons in their outermost shell. These elements try to gain or share 2 electrons in order to attain inert gas configuration. Oxygen is highly electronegative element and shows only -2 oxidation state. General oxidation state of these elements is -2. Because they will gain 2 electrons to complete their octet. So the oxygen is having very reactive and it is having -2 oxidation state. That is the common oxidation state for the oxygen. And it also shows -1 oxidation state in the peroxide. In the peroxide, oxygen shows -1 oxidation state. Some other like the +1 and +2 oxidation state. This is with the compounds of the fluorine. The oxide of fluorine are called as fluorides because the fluorine is more electronegative than oxygen, and that's why in the fluorides the oxidation state of oxygen is +2. So now we can say the oxygen shows -2, -1 and +2 oxidation state. And it cannot extend its oxidation state. And in case of sulfur, the sulfur is -2, +2, +4 and +6 oxidation state. The electronegativity decreases down the group, so the tendency to exhibit -2 oxidation state decreases as we go down the group. And sulfur, selenium, tellurium shows positive oxidation state also, and these states are +2, +4 and +6 oxidation state. So these states are also possible for the sulfur, selenium and tellurium, because as we go downward in the group, then there is decrease in the electronegativity, and due to the presence of vacant d orbital, these elements shows +4 and +6 oxidation state. Okay, you study about the SF6 in 11th class, and this is formed due to the presence of the d orbital, because in SF6 the hybridization is sp3d2. So d orbital is involved in the structure. So here this means we can write for the selenium, tellurium and tellurium. They show +2, +4 and +6 with -2 also. -2 oxidation state. But the stability or the formation tendency to form -2 oxidation state decreases down the group due to decrease in the electronegativity of the element. Because decrease in electronegativity, they have less tendency to gain electron, but they can form the compound when they combine with the more electronegative element like oxygen and fluorine. They will show +2, +4 and +6 oxidation states also. The stability of +6 oxidation state decreases down the group. That is due to this is due to the inert pair effect. So the stability of +6 oxidation state decreases down the group due to the inert pair effect. Sulfur only form the compound in the +6 oxidation state, but as you come downward, the stability of +6 oxidation state decreases, and that we can explain on the basis of the inert pair effect. Now we will study the second is the oxide, or you can say the reaction with the oxygen. All these elements form oxides of the type EO2 and EO3, where E is the E is the element of this group, that is sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium. And for example, sulfur forms SO2 and SO3, two gases. SO2 is sulfur dioxide and SO3 is sulfur trioxide. Now SO2 is a gas, but SeO2 is a volatile solid and TeO2 is a crystalline solid. So there is a change in the physical state. Sulfur dioxide is having the triangular structure with one pair of electron. So the sulfur dioxide is a gas, SeO2 is a volatile liquid, and then TeO2 is a crystalline solid. Now this is the change in the electronegative character of the element. Reducing property of dioxide decreases from sulfur to tellurium, that is from sulfur dioxide to tellurium dioxide. Sulfur dioxide is a reducing agent, that means it is converted into SO4 minus ion, or here the oxidation state of sulfur is +4, then it is converting into +6 oxidation state. So it is reducing, while TeO2 is an oxidizing agent. Both EO2 and EO3 types of oxides are acidic in nature, because these are non-metallic oxides, so they are acidic in nature. You know, when the sulfur dioxide is dissolved in water, then it forms sulfurous acid, and when sulfur trioxide is dissolved into water, then it forms the sulfuric acid. So these oxides are acidic in nature. Meaning of this is that when the oxides are dissolved in water, they form acids. So that's why these oxides are called as the acidic oxide. Now we'll study the reactivity towards hydrogen, or we will study here the hydrides of these elements. So all the elements of this group form H2M type hydride, where M is oxygen, sulfur, selenium and tellurium. So these elements forms M2H type hydride. That you already know, the valence of these elements is -2. So here the hydrogen will be +1 and the oxygen and sulfur, they will be -2. So they are forming the different hydrides like the H2O, H2S, H2SE and H2TE. Now we'll study the properties of these hydrides. Now the first property of these hydride is the physical state. Water is a colorless, odorless liquid, while other hydrides are colorless gases with bad odor or with the bad smell. You know about the water. Water is a colorless and odorless liquid, and then it exists in the liquid state, and that the reason is the intermolecular hydrogen bonding. In case of this water molecule, this OH bond is a polar bond. This is delta negative and this is delta positive. And this, due to the polarity of this OH bond, the water molecule join together by forming the intermolecular hydrogen bond. So these hydrogen bonds are formed here, and that's why it exists in the liquid state. So the physical state is due to the presence of the intermolecular forces. So this is about the physical state. Now the second is volatility. All the hydrides are volatile. Water has low volatility. Again, the reason for the low volatility is the hydrogen bond, because the water molecules are associated due to the formation of hydrogen bond, and that's why the water is least volatile or low volatile. And then the other, when you move from oxygen, then sulfur, then tellurium, then the volatility will be decreases, and this is due to increase in the OH bond, EH bond, or you can say the bond between the hydrogen and these elements. So this is the reason for the volatility. The high boiling point and low volatility of water is due to hydrogen bonding on account of high electronegativity of oxygen. That is the association of the water molecules, and that's why more energy is required for the higher boiling point of the water. In other hydrides, weak van der Waals forces are present. These forces increase with increase in molecular size, and therefore boiling point increases and volatility decreases from H2S to H2TE. So this volatility will be decreases. So now this is for the volatility or the boiling point for the hydride. The next point is the covalent character and thermal stability of the hydride. So next point for the covalent character. For the covalent character, as the electronegativity differences between the M, that is the element of this group, and H decreases, the covalent character of these hydride increases from H2O to H2TE. Water molecule is highly polar, that you already know, because OH bond is highly polar, and that's why these molecules will be the more covalent. Now water molecule, it is high, and the water is also having very high dielectric constant also. Now on the same base, because there is increase in atomic size, and that's why there is increase in the covalent character, that you can say. Now we can also explain the thermal stability of these hydrides. The thermal stability of these hydride decreases from H2O to H2TE. This is also increase in the bond length, that is H versus M bond. M is the element of the 16th group. Now because due to increase in the atomic size of the element, the increase in the bond length, and there is decrease in the bond dissociation energy. Thermal stability means when the heat this compound, then there will be the breaking of this bond. This is called as thermal stability. So the thermal stability of the hydride decreases from H2O to H2TE. As they move from oxygen to tellurium, the atomic size increases. Therefore, the tendency to form a stable covalent bond with hydrogen decreases. And that's why there is decrease in the bond dissociation energy, and that's why there is decrease in the thermal stability. Now, on the basis of the thermal stability or the bond dissociation energy, we can also explain some property like the reducing nature. When this bond between the hydrogen and M will break, the hydrogen will become free, and that will be used for the reduction purpose. So when we talk about the reducing nature of the hydride, all the hydride except water act as a reducing agent. This is due to the breaking of MH bond. And this bond, because this bond will break easily, and that's why the reducing nature also increases. So when we move down the group, then the size of the element increases and bond dissociation energy decreases, and that's why the reducing nature also increases. So this is for the reducing nature. And then the acidic nature, now the reason is the same. For the acidic nature also, the hydrides are all weak acids and dissociate to varying degree to give H plus, and you know the water is neutral. But H2S is acidic in nature, it will ionize to give, this H2S will ionize to give 2H positive plus S2 minus. So this will ionize, so it will act as the weak acid. So they are weak acid, and their acidic strength depends upon the ionization of these hydrides. So in this way we can explain the acidic behavior of the hydrides. Now we'll study the halides. Halide means when these elements react with the halogen, they form halides. And you know about the halogen, fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine are called as halogens. So these elements form a large number of halides of the type EX2, EX4 and EX6, where E is an element of this group and X is a halogen. X is representing a halogen and E is representing the element of the 16th group. Now, the stability of the halides decreases in the order of fluoride, chloride, bromide and then iodide. That means fluorine form fluorides and they are very stable. That is due to the high electronegativity of the fluorine. So they form three types of halide: EX2, EX4 and EX6 type halides. And here the fluorides will be the more stable compound. So these fluorides are very stable. Particularly the fluorides are very stable. Amongst hexahalide, the hexafluorides are the only stable halide. When we talk about the hexahalide, that is EX6 type, then only the fluorides are very small, very stable, and the other halides are bigger in size, so their halides are not stable due to steric hindrance or steric reason. Among the tetrafluoride, SF4 is a gas, SeF4 is a liquid and TeF4 is a solid. Now for when we talk about the hexafluoride, particularly for SF6, that is very important, that is asked in the examination also. You know the sulfur has the configuration, I am writing only the outermost shell electronic or 3s2, 3p for outermost shell electronic configuration, and it has vacant d orbital. And now because the compound is from SF6, so there must be 6 unpaired electron. So electron from the p orbital will move to the d orbital and then its hybridization will be SF6 and the structure will be octahedral. Octahedral, or that is square bipyramidal. This is sulfur and these are the fluorine atom. So this is for the structure of sulfur hexafluoride and that is octahedral in nature. When we talk about SF4, in the SF4 only 4 bonds are formed. So when 4 bonds are formed, then in the excited state, the only one pair will be moved from here. So one s pair will be present in the s orbital. Now the 5 orbitals will be needed and the hybridization will be sp3. So this will be trigonal bipyramidal. One pair will be sulfur is here, 4 fluorine atoms here, and the one orbital will be having one pair of electron. So it is having distorted trigonal bipyramidal structure. So for the SF4, and then you can say the SF4 is a gas where SeF4 is a liquid and TF4 is a solid, that is on the basis of the forces. So these are the structure for SF6 and SF4. You have studied 11th class also, then you have to repeat it. The hybridization in case of the SF4 is sp3d and the structure is distorted trigonal bipyramidal. And in case of the SF6, the hybridization will be sp3d2. Hybridization will be sp3d2 and then the structure will be octahedral. This is for SF6. Now we'll talk about the oxoacids. For the oxoacids are the acids which contains OH bond. Oxoacid, that is related to the acidic nature. These acids are having the OH bond. And now for the oxoacid, sulfur forms many oxoacids. Now these oxoacids are called as sulfurous acid, sulfuric acid, peroxodisulfuric acid and pyrosulfuric acid. For to draw the structure, because in the examination they ask about the structure of these acids. First thing, the sulfur is having the bond, one bond, at least one OH bond will be there. In the sulfurous acid, the formula is H3SO3. H2SO3. This is the formula for sulfurous acid. So because 2 hydrogen is there, so we can write the 2 OH bond is here, and it is tetrahedral in nature, and then the 1 double bond O and 1 pair of electron will be there, because sulfur is present here in +4 oxidation state. This is H2SO3. So that this OH bond, this is OH bond, this is double bond, and 1 lone pair of electron is present there. So the structure is tetrahedral. And it has 2 OH bond, and now this acid is a dibasic acid because it has 2 replaceable hydrogen, or it can neutralize 2 equivalent part of a base, and that's why it is a dibasic acid. And then the sulfuric acid, you all know the formula of the sulfuric acid, that is very important acid of sulfur, that is H2SO4. All the acids are having the tetrahedral structure. Now here also you are having the 2 OH bond. Now here the 2 oxygen atoms are there. So we can write 1 oxygen atom here and 1 is here. Now this is the structure for the sulfuric acid. Or you can make 1 coordinate bond here. Or if you are not making, then you can draw here the lone pair of electrons which are present here. So we can explain the formation of the bond. Then we would put here 6 electron, that is electron dot structure for the sulfuric acid. So in this way we can draw the structure of these oxy acids of the sulfur. Now the next is peroxodisulfuric acid. Its name is peroxodisulfuric acid. So we will take the 2 molecule of the sulfuric acid and the peroxo having the peroxide linkage, this sulfur. And then it is having the same structure like a sulfuric acid. This double bond O, double bond O, this double bond O, double bond O. And then we will write OH here and OH here. So this is the structure for the peroxodisulfuric acid. There are the 2 molecules of the sulfuric acid, and they are forming 1 peroxide linkage. This is H2S2OA. This is peroxodisulfuric acid. Now for next is the pyrosulfuric acid. In the pyrosulfuric acids are formed when we remove 1 molecule of water from 2 molecules of sulfuric acid. Suppose you can write here 1 more molecule and then remove 1 molecule of water from here. So I am writing the structure. For this we can write 1 double bond here, 1 double bond here, 1 OH here. Then we write 1 O. O will be common. Double bond O. Then we can write OH here. And the 1 double bond O will be here. So this is pyrosulfuric acid, and this formula is H2S2O7. This is pyrosulfuric acid. When we remove 1 molecule of water from 2 molecules of sulfuric acid, then it is called as pyrosulfuric acid. So this is for the oxo acid of sulfur. So we have to study with the special reference to oxygen and sulfur. So oxygen cannot extend its valency state, but sulfur can extend. That is due to the presence of vacant orbital. So in this way we can explain the structure of the oxo acids of sulfur. And then we have to study what is the difference between the properties of oxygen and other element, that is the abnormal nature of the oxygen. That we'll study in the next